of Emily's speech is to begin speaking before an audience and discover and improve speaking skills. The length of her speech is 4 to 6 minutes. Emily is being new to Toastmasters. There are several things that you will not know about Emily. Emily is an introvert, in the general sense of the word, and she follows the stereotypical image pretty well. She's a bookworm, reading at 16 words per second. She's very stubborn, and it's evident in her desire to get into radiology technology program. The title of Emily's speech is Adrenaline. Would you please welcome Emily?
What is this? Take a guess. I'm 3,000 feet up in the air. I open the door. I lean out. Boy, the ground is really far away. I look again, and suddenly there is wind. Nothing but wind. I have fallen out of the plane, and the only thing saving me from death is a piece of cloth. Or how about this? I'm racing down a raging river with my customers. They have placed their lives in my hands, and I am doing everything I can to keep them alive. If you were thinking skydiving and river rafting, you are correct. Let me tell you a little bit more about each. With skydiving, I screamed with my eyes closed over halfway down. When I finally got the courage to open my eyes, the sky was dripping down to touch the earth, and the earth was clawing its way up to touch the sky. I was in a perfect sphere. It was incredibly beautiful. Eventually, I looked down at the ground. Oh, it's not. So I pulled my parachute, and reality sets in with a little bit of pain. I can hear the horns honking beneath me from the highway, and I can see my target. Yes, it's an actual target. It's red, white, red, white, red. I have a beautiful landing. My adrenaline fades slowly. With river rafting, I have a particularly fond but embarrassing memory. I was the oldest trainee, so naturally I got stuck with the new trainees. Yay. We were going down the Arkansas River. Now in the middle of the river is this rock called Taco Rock, aptly named. If you hit it broadside, your boat will fold in half like a hard-shell taco. Oh. Literally. Naturally, we hit it broadside. So here we are, standing on a rock that's barely big enough for 2 of us, and we're trying to fit 5 on, and we're trying to figure out how to get unstuck. I happen to look at our fellow raft guides, and I see that they are floating merrily away, waving as they do so. In fact, one says, "Have fun getting off the rock." So, I have the brilliant idea of pulling the lunch out. Don't look at me like that. Hindsight's always 20/20. So, the 2 burly guys managed to get the lunch out over our heads to land lid side down in the river. The boat is floating merrily away from us crazy trainees. Uh-oh, I better grab that. Naturally, I get a hold of it. Now, because the trainees are new, they hop over my head with the lunch. They don't bother to think about me and what will happen to me. I get pulled into the river, sink to the bottom. I had a couple of rocks along the way. I try to get back in the boat. What do? As they're trying to help me in, they push me out. Of course. So, I finally get back into the boat, and of course, my fellow trainees, they felt so sorry for me. They gave me their desserts. It was good. As you can probably see by now, I am an adrenaline-seeking person. I mean, I don't cause car accidents to get my adrenaline rush, but if I see a coupon for skydiving or river rafting, I'll take that up and use it to my advantage. But the thing I have found that causes my adrenaline to pump harder and faster are interviews. No, don't look at me like that. Interviews are terrifying. Anyone who thinks otherwise either is the interviewer or hasn't had an interview. Let me tell you about one in particular. I went to Fort Hays State University. I was going to be interviewed for a radiologic technology program. It's a program I wanted to get into for 5 years now. Unfortunately, I've only been able to apply for 2. Naturally, I'm waiting in the lounge, and I'm reading through my book, and then I'm doing my Sudoku, and I'm waiting for the director of the program to come in. Naturally, he comes in. Now, let me ask you, how many people interview you at one time? 1,
3.
2, 3, 5 max, right? 20 people were interviewing. So naturally, I was exceptionally nervous. My hands, I couldn't control them any further. I couldn't. And then, of course, I was stuttering and staring. It was the worst interview I have ever had. The buzzer rings and I step outside. Worst speech, worst interview ever. But of course, I wasn't expecting 20 people. When I finally have myself under control, I look at the clock. I realize that the interview was timed for 8 minutes.
Oh my God.
So I had 8 minutes to impress. Kind of a desperate sort of thing. Naturally, as you heard, my adrenaline was pumping. But in conclusion, what you should take away from this speech is that I'm stubborn. If I wasn't stubborn, do you think I would do these crazy things? And that not all introverts are true introverts. One time I was at work and my coworkers asked me what I did over my weekend. Oh, you know, I did some skydiving, I did some river rafting, I did some unicycling, and I read a good book. They walk away. Wait, you went skydiving and unicycling? So it's always a lot of fun to see how long it takes. It's usually about 5 seconds before it goes all the way through their head. So that's what you should take away from my speech.